recapping the model that we looked at last week was we were talking about choosing your focus. Were you here, Katrina? Okay, cool. So we talked about choosing your focus, and this is one of the most powerful models that I use with my coaching clients because they start to understand that they can choose how to react to something based on the result that they want. So in the beginning we talked about how E plus R equals O. The event doesn't determine the outcome, it's the event, that's okay, plus your response, it'll be your response where all your power is to that event that causes the outcome. So something can happen, someone can be mean, you can run out of money, the fridge can be empty, anything, something can happen, but it's not that event, it's your response to that event that makes all the difference, and that's where all your power is. So we talked about that. This is another way of choosing how to respond to an event. So just the recap, Katrina, I'll only do it quickly, but I'll do it for you privately, is that the two top layers are vision and planning. So if you want your life to work, you do it from a point of view of vision and planning. People, when your life is not working quite effectively, people are living what we call below the belt, which means they're living in some detailed problem and drama. And I told a little story, and I'll send you that YouTube clip. That was what we did last week. That'll be really interesting for you. But this week I want to talk about a new model, and that's called the Iceberg Model. I'm going to hand you this so you can just see. I should hand you all of them. See what I'm talking about. Baby noises upstairs. Come on in, more of it. Do you want to sit on a chair or sit on the floor? You good? Okay, cool. So this is called the Iceberg Model. I'll just give you a chance to have a wee look at it. Noises upstairs. Yeah.
Thank you, Caleb.
So it indicates that the bit that you see, or the result of your life, is the top of the iceberg. It's the only bit that you can see. So we're calling that, in this instance, we're calling it the state of your health, the bit that you're looking at, the result that you're looking at. But the result that you look at is determined by your behaviours or your lifestyle behaviours. And your behaviours, which some are seen and some are not seen, are determined by the motivational level, and the motivational level of your life is the feelings, the way you feel. So your whole life is pretty much directed by your way you feel. What determines how you feel? Your thoughts, down the bottom. So they've said their spiritual being, meaning. The main thing is that we are all making up the meaning of our lives. It's called your belief system. So often people will say that a belief is something that's absolutely solid and unchangeable. All a belief is a thought that you keep thinking over and over and over, so much so that it becomes a really solid fixture in your life, and it becomes a belief that it's true. Because we've probably all had experiences where you believed something really solidly, and then a year or two later you go, oh, actually, that wasn't quite true. It's just that you thought it over and over. So in terms of what we're doing here, it's important for us to understand that the result that you get can be traced right back to the way you think. So your thoughts will affect how you feel, your feelings will affect what you do, and what you do will affect the result. So we can use that both ways. Number one, if you're getting a really bad result or you're having a horrible experience, you can trace that back to, hang on, how did this happen? What was I thinking that caused me to feel that way, that caused me to behave that way and then get that kind of result? So, for example, we had a client who started this 12-week program, and in the early days of the program, she started saying to me, really nervous about the money I'm paying. I think my husband might be really nervous about the money as well. And that was a thought, she's thinking, okay, because she had beliefs around money and value and exercise and all sorts of things. And she kept thinking that, and then it attracted another kind of thought, look, I could probably do this on my own. I can probably just go off and get a cheap membership somewhere else, and I can probably do this on my own. And she kept thinking that way. And I'm thinking, if you keep thinking that way, there is only one road. The thought will create a feeling for you, it'll create your behaviour, and then it'll create the state of your health. So what did happen is she was thinking that way, and it caused her to feel nervous, and really out of sorts, and maybe this isn't quite right, maybe I've made a bad decision. Again, maybe I've made another bad decision. I'm always making bad decisions. So here's this thought that she's perpetuating the feeling, and guess how she behaved? She came to me and said, no, I think I can do it on my own. I think I'm going to go off and do this on my own. And she cancelled and she walked away from the program, all the support of the program. Now, you're allowed to do that, but what's interesting is then the state of her health stayed exactly the same. She never improved. She didn't do anything different from what she'd done before. She had thought her way out of getting a really great result with her health. So we can use it in reverse. You can notice yourself not getting a good result and you can think, the result that I want is like Chris, I want to turn up at the football, I want to have be prepared, I want to feel, strong and capable so that I end up getting a great result. What thoughts do I need to think to get me there? So you purposely think thoughts that make you feel strong, confident, I can do this is going to work for me. That'll make you turn up to your exercise sessions on time, help you to go for walks, help you to make better choices at restaurants, and help you to get into the state that you want. So this kind of gives you the power to go, okay, my thoughts aren't thinking me, I'm thinking my thoughts, and even though they might pop up in your head at different times and you might feel out of control of them, you can choose the ones that you want to think. Is there anything about that is people can relate to, or it's sounding a bit familiar?
If you believe in something, then do it.
Yeah. You'll get the result. Yeah. So particularly with this, I remember also once running a program when we had the gym running a program, and one of the girls, we were having a little group a bit like this one, and one of the girls said, this is my last-ditch effort. I'm just going to have a go at this and see if it works. This sort of stuff hasn't worked for me in the past, so let's just give it a go and just see. And as we went around the room, another one of the girls said, I'm really excited about this. I've been to the nutritionalist. I've had a conversation with her. I've got a few recipes in place. I've actually hung my size 12 dress on the outside of my door, and this is going to work. And what I got to see then was how those two people acted throughout the program. So, for example, the girl that knew that it was going to work, one of the nights, because I used to own a gym, one of the nights when her husband didn't come home on time, she rang up and said, I know you've got a creche there. Do you mind if I bring the kids down, put a video on so I can still get my exercise session in? And we said yes, that it was a perfectly safe situation. She chose to ask. And she also said that she went to a friend's place and there was a party on and she brought all her own bits and pieces, and she just said, look, I'm on this program, I hope you don't mind, but I won't, eat a piece of cake today. But I'm really happy for you and excited that you've put this on, and So she had ways of dealing with things. If her husband didn't arrive home, she chose another path. Whereas the other girl had booked personal training sessions with me and didn't turn up, and it was because her husband hadn't arrived home on time, or she had the kids, or basically what happened is she knew that the program wasn't going to work. And so what happened is she felt defeated and she acted, she gave up, and then the program actually didn't work for her. So it's quite fascinating to follow that through and to know that your thoughts are creating the kind of actions that you're taking and the results that you're getting. Cool, so that is, I hope, of use to you, just to kind of catch yourself when you are getting a poor result, to work it back and go, hang on, how could I have prevented that? What could I have thought to prevent that? And you don't have to think a thought that's necessarily true. You can think of something that just makes you feel a little better. Think a thought of something you've done in the past that's worked, or think of something that you love or you're happy with, and it will just create a slightly better feeling for you, which will cause you to behave in a slightly better way and then get a better result in all those areas of your life. So thanks, guys, for listening to that little model.